everyone, I'm Alicia here from Stretch It App, and on today's episode of Stretch It Fundamentals, we go over forward folding. A forward fold primarily is designed to stretch your hamstrings, but if you try to bend over and touch your toes, as I'm sure you've heard a lot of, and you don't necessarily feel the stretch in your hamstrings, the muscles on the backs of your legs, but you rather feel it in your back, these are a few modifications that you can take in order to adjust the stretch so you can better feel this in your hamstrings, not so much on your back, and also progress it so you can eventually touch your toes with legs closer together, straight knees, and more of an arched back instead of a round one. A concept I find people have a hard time grasping when trying to practice a forward fold and targeting the hamstrings in that stretch is their understanding of an anterior tilt. If we stand with our legs slightly wider than hip width, slight bend in the knees, and purposefully place our fingers here in our hip crease, you want to send your hip crease back. For us to do that, we have to move the pelvis back in space and maintain this arch in the low spine. And as we go lower, we don't want to start rounding or stop the pelvis moving back in space, because now we're targeting the back instead of the hamstrings. And if we go lower and want to still target hamstrings, we again have to keep moving the pelvis back. If we met our limit in terms of depth, where if we go any lower, we start to change our alignment, it's recommended that you have the floor come up higher or you widen your stance. A wider stance is going to give more space for your hip crease to be back, right? And again, your blocks or even a chair, sofa, or something higher to place your hands on to maintain this arched position and this deep anterior tilt. And the lower you go, the more you have to send your hip up. And it's fine to stay here. You don't have to rush placing your hands down on the floor, especially if your back is rounding. Now that could be a totally different stretch altogether, but if you're looking to target the hamstrings primarily, we want to keep the back arched and again, the hips tilted. So if you wanted to start standing again and just practice that tilt, move your pelvis back in space so much that you rock to your heels, right? And you have to regain balance again. That's a really great indication that you're moving your pelvis as far back as possible. And then once you found that tilt, maintain it, widen the stance if you have to, keep the knees bent. Nothing wrong with that, because if you can still feel your hamstring stretching, it's not going to interfere. And then you lower as far as you can while keeping that hip tilt and that arched back. And if you're using blocks, you can use their heights to gauge progress, because the lower you go and the more you can keep your tilt and that back arch, you know you're still targeting the hamstrings. To get out of this, make sure you bend your knees, place your palms down, maybe heel toe the legs together a little closer, and gently roll up to stand. If you want to improve your flexibility, make sure you check out our classes on our app. You can find the link down in the description box. And if you want to see more videos like these, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel.